Hello and welcome to a brand new series to my channel. It is called Top 5 Races, and to kick off this new series we're starting with our world champion and current world championship leader Lewis Hamilton. And so number 5 on our list is the 2007 Canadian Grand Prix at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. It was the 6th race of the Formula 1 season at that time, which was of course won by Lewis Hamilton, who started from pole position. In fact, his rookie season in Formula 1. It was his first win, his first pole position, and it was the first Formula 1 race to be won by a black driver. Nick Heidfeld finished second with Alexander Wurz third, making it the first Grand Prix of 2007 where there was another team other than Ferrari and McLaren on the podium. This race is more famously known for the safety car, which was brought out after a huge crash for Robert Kubica, which saw him suffer a sprained ankle and concussion. During the race as well, Felipe Massa and Giancarlo Fisichella were disqualified for failing to stop at the exit of the pit lane when the red light was on. The fastest lap went to Fernando Alonso, who was Hamilton's world championship leader at the time. He had a nightmare race. He went off at turn 1 on no less than 3 occasions. Hamilton would build up a gap, and then the safety car kept coming out. And it was a mature drive from someone who was only in their 6th ever Formula 1 Grand Prix. 4th on my list is the 2011 Chinese Grand Prix, the 3rd race of the 2011 season. 3rd race with Pirelli tyres as well. This is one of the only races where the Pirelli markings on the tyres were very different. They copied Bridgestone's stripe around the tyres from 2010. Pole position had gone to Sebastian Vettel in that race, but it was Lewis Hamilton that won the race, having started 3rd on the grid, and became the first ever multiple winner of the Chinese Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel finished 2nd in his Red Bull, as we've said, having started from pole position, and Mark Webber completed the podium, having started in 18th place after, I believe, having I think it was a KERS problem in Q1. As a consequence of the race, Vettel's lead in the Drivers' World Championship was cut to 21 points by Hamilton. Jenson Button finished 4th in China as well, and I think it was Nico Rosberg in 5th. I might be wrong on that. But it was a fantastic race where it was all about tyre management. Vettel, Felipe Massa, two of many to go for a 2-stop strategy, whereas the 2 McLarens went for a 3-stop, which was ultimately the quickest race. Hamilton had been the only person to save a set of soft tyres for the race from qualifying. And one of the comedic moments of the race was when Jenson Button actually went into the Red Bull pit box in a race with Sebastian Vettel in the pit stops, meaning he was jumped by Vettel. But it was a very good drive with an excellent overtaking manoeuvre at the S section on the Chinese Grand Prix circuit. Number 3 on the list is the 2014 Bahrain Grand Prix, and it's a very recent race. It's the most recent race on this list. And what can we say about this race that hasn't already been said? Nico Rosberg took pole position, of course, but it was Lewis Hamilton who got a fantastic start to take the lead into the first corner. And it was in fact the 900th Formula 1 World Championship event. It was the first night race in Bahrain as well. And as we've already said, Lewis Hamilton won, and it was an incredible battle between Hamilton and Rosberg, and it was probably the best race of 2014, with action all the way down the field, and the duel between the 2 silver arrows. It will be something that will live long in the memories of Formula 1 fans. Sergio Perez got 3rd, scoring Force India's first ever podium since Giancarlo Fisichella at the 2009 Belgian Grand Prix. And the race was notable for Pastor Maldonado's crash on lap 41 with Esteban Gutierrez, with Gutierrez being flipped over after he was T-boned by Maldonado coming out of the pits, which of course brought out the safety car, which created the incredible 10-lap battle to the end between the 2 Mercedes drivers. Number 2 on the list is the 2008 British Grand Prix. Now, my number 1, which we'll get to in a bit, and my number 2 are very, very close together, and it was pretty much impossible to choose between the two, but this one was my number 2 on the list. It was the 9th race of the 2008 Formula 1 season, which was won by Lewis Hamilton, of course. After starting 4th on the grid, Nick Heidfeld had finished 2nd for BMW, with Rubens Barrichello 3rd in a well-off-the-pace Honda after an inspired tyre decision. Kovalainen had taken pole position alongside Mark Webber and Kimi Raikkonen. Webber and Raikkonen were passed by Hamilton going into the first corner, and Hamilton nearly got Heikki Kovalainen in that first corner as well. And the race started off on intermediate tyres, and then it started to dry off, but just before they went to dry tyres, the rain came back, and it came down torrentially. The amount of drivers that DNF'd in this race was incredible. The 2 Ferraris of Raikkonen and Massa spinning at nearly every opportunity possible. There was so much aquaplaning, and the inspired tyre decision by Honda to put the full wet tyres on gave them a podium in the end, and a fully deserved podium as well, while everyone else tried to hang it out on the intermediates, the Ferraris on worn intermediates in torrential rain. And Lewis Hamilton ended up winning by over 60 seconds. He nearly lapped the whole field, which is an incredible thing to think about. And the closest we've had to that is Sebastian Vettel, I think, at the 2011 Spanish Grand Prix and the 2013 Singapore Grand Prix. And it was a masterclass. But my number 1 is the 2007 Japanese Grand Prix. Now, the reason this one pips the 2008 British Grand Prix is because at the British Grand Prix they were on inters. Most of the field were on inters. This race, it was all full wets the whole way, and it was incredible rain, torrential rain. The race started behind the safety car. It was the 15th round of the 2007 season, and it had actually been a revised track, and it was misty as well as heavy rain, and the race was won by Lewis Hamilton, who actually took pole position, and he actually got the fastest lap of the race as well. Heikki Kovalainen achieved his first podium by finishing 2nd for Renault, whilst Kimi Raikkonen finished 3rd for Ferrari. And Suter scored Spiker's first and only point by being promoted to 8th after the race. Kimi Raikkonen and Felipe Massa tried to be really clever at the start and started on the intermediates, which of course is against the rules, and had to pit for the full wet tyres under the safety car, dropping them right to the back of the field. So it was an incredible drive by Kimi Raikkonen to get from the back of the field to the podium. There was so much going on in this race. There was cars aquaplaning and spinning off in all directions. Fernando Alonso crashed, a huge impact after aquaplaning. Robert Kubica hit Lewis Hamilton and put Hamilton into a half spin, and thankfully kept Hamilton in the race. There was an incredible duel between Massa and Kubica at the end of the race, with the two cars literally wheel to wheel for the last few corners. And there was an accident between Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber, which of course brings up the memorable images of Sebastian Vettel crying his eyes out in the Toro Rosso pit box. And it was also a race that Mark Webber was being sick in the car as well, so he was in a very bad mood after the race. So those are my top 5 Formula 1 races for Lewis Hamilton. There were other ones that arguably should be on the list, like Hungary 2014, to name one. That could have gone on the list. I'm actually a bit annoyed that I haven't put that on the list, but that's just how it is. Those are my top 5. I don't know who we'll do next, but this is a series that I think we could keep going for a while. As rookies, we might leave them for a couple of seasons, because it would be hard to do them if they're only like 6 races into a year. You've got to pick 5 of them. So, but there'll also be special ones for Grand Prix and for Formula 1 itself. That's one I might do maybe towards the end of the season, But that's something to look out for. So until next time, guys, I'll see you around, and I look forward to the Spanish Grand Prix. Goodbye.